the progress report from a collaborative project I'm doing with Sensei, with Jiaying and Hiroko Sadan, and an American professor from University of Tennessee, Professor Leon, is actually a systematic literature review to actually looking into the literature to understand better what is going on in the field related to entrepreneurship education for high schoolers. And I am going to present a little bit about the progress on this project. So as I said, it's a systematic literature review that is built based on 30-year literature between 1990 to 2019. And our dedicated population of interest is middle and late adolescents in high schools. So the benefit of doing systematic literature review is to mainly bridge research and practices. We actually can offer research evidence to the practice community, to practitioners community and policymaker community by telling them what has been proved by research as feasible. So according to the literature, actually in the management field, the gap between practice and research has been broadened. So there is a need to actually bring the research results in a very logical way, in a very clean way to the practitioners, so they understand what has been the output of our work. So it would be like this, research and the policy maker and practice, there's a gap, and the systematic literature review summarize all the evidences from the research and inform practice and policy maker group. So our focus, as I said, is high schoolers, mainly middle and late adolescents between the age of 15 to 19. And our context of interest is secondary education. And the range of the publication is between 1990 to 2019. So, so what's going on with the policy and practice side? Why we actually grow interest in this age group? In fact, by 2030, there will be over 1 out of 5 as people who is between 15 to 19. So it's a very growing age group for the global population, and half of them will reside in Asia, 1/4 will reside in Africa. So we can see that it's very associated with less developed areas. And no mention that middle-late adolescents also represent the largest age group for child and adolescent migrants. So that means among 35 million international migrants under 20-year-old, there are 62% reside in least developed and developing countries, and 33% they are our interest. They are located in our interested age group. And previous literature also said career development in the high school level is very open. So that is very open to intervention of entrepreneurship education and training. So the potential impact of such study will benefit areas like adolescent empowerment, adolescent birth rate control, youth growth, human capital development, poverty elimination, immigrant entrepreneurship, and ethnic minority groups empowerment. So why this review? Because we looked into quite a list of systematic literature review on the topic of entrepreneurship education, and found in general scholars produce a lot on the topic of entrepreneurship education, but very little has been found about the level of secondary education to have this kind of synthesis effort to produce systematic literature review. So this is a gap we want to fill in, and our major objective is to cluster research themes out of the 30-year literature to guide the further research efforts of the community and to inform the practitioners what's available now in the literature. So this is basically a very, very highly cited systematic literature review on entrepreneurship education by Peterway and Cope, published in 2007. And our intention is to build a similar thing like this, to put the themes in a reasonable and logical way to inform the further development. And I, together with the team, actually, we formed the 3 stages of systematic literature review based on the work from Chansfield, Daniel, and Smart in 2003, and Peter Wei and Cope's work in 2007. It includes 3 stages and 12 phases. Now we are in the phase 6 in stage 2. So we are in the initial screening half into this whole 3-stage process. So the stage 1, basically, we actually plan the review. We look into first, we look into a collection of systematic literature review articles on the topic to understand what has been done and what hasn't been done, with this type of research. So then we found this subdivision as a second education level not being quite studied, not being quite synthesized as a subdomain. So we want to actually address this gap. So we finalize it as our final direction of synthesis research. And then we develop a review protocol, including different types of elements we need to use as guidance for our whole review process. And then, as I said before, we actually studied first a collection of systematic literature review articles, and this is like a result, a summary of what has been done on the topic using systematic literature review or bibliometric study approach or meta-analysis approach. And as you can see, the highlighted here under the title. So for all these titles highlighted in red, that's the basically, if we talk about progress, we have 12 phases, 3 stages, and we are now in the phase 6 initial screening. So so I'm gonna walk you through the stages we actually went through already. So phase 1 is we look at different articles using this similar approach, and we found quite a lot. They focus on entrepreneurship education as a general topic, and then we identify this Peterway and Cope review paper as one of the most influential that can be our role model to follow. And they actually follow the Chansfield paper published in 2003. So this too becomes our backbones of reference papers for doing this research. And then we develop a review protocol, and then we identify a list of initial keywords to look into the literature. As you can see, it's very complex. And then we proceed to the second stage, which was to do a review. The phase 3 actually was a pilot searches. We used that very complex keywords to try on 2 databases. One is Scopus, one is ProQuest. So the purpose is to test the keywords and refine it. So this is the result of the retuning of the keywords. We now have 2 types. One is context and population related to keywords. One is interested phenomena related keywords. So use the combination of these 2, we entered the phase 4, which is 4 more searches. We chose 6 databases to do this systematic literature review search. So we create search streams by database because both all of them use different Boolean logic. So we have to customize to different database. We apply primary filters, and then we download citation information from this process. So as you can see, this is an example of the search stream. We combine keywords, so 2 types of keywords we have, Boolean operators, and building blocks, which is this is block 1, this is block 2, and then this is block 3, which is combined of 2 blocks. So using this kind of combination of the search terms, we use as a search one integrated search string to be inputted into advanced field of each database and run the searching. Then we just downloaded the data, integrate them, clean the data, remove duplicates, and then we formed, in the end, 1,218 relevant literature according to the search results and the filter. And then we form them into one file with mainly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 fields. So based mainly on title and abstract, we divide the 6 persons into 2 groups. So each group has 3 persons, 1 experienced coder, 1 novice coder, 1 arbitrator to resolve the conflict. And then we code 0, 1, or 2 to decide on the relevance of literature to the project. And then we are going to calculate inter-rater reliability based on Cohen's kappa coefficient. The deadline is September 14. So the procedure will be based like this, divided into 3 dates. And by each date, we analyzed 203 citations by group. And then with this process, we are going to actually narrow down the literature to most relevant to our project. So as I walked you through, that's the 6 phases we have walked. So in the next 6 steps, we are going to finalize this project, hopefully by the end of this year.